Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. In this video I wanted to show you that Soren is actually doing really well in the Dauntless squad. My viewer's highest score right now is 9337, like basically almost 10 billion higher than the team testing that we did for him. He's now in the top 20. And this is the team that he's running. With Soren on the buff tile along with Shakira, I didn't think Soren was going to do so well because I thought that he's like kind of like an AoE damage dealer, but he does really well in this boss. And he was running the greatsword spell. I actually want to try this team with the not the greatsword spell. I want to try it with the frontline spell. And I know it would lower the damage from Reese, who probably won't be on the enemy side, but it would increase the damage of Shakir and Soren, who are your buff tile carrier heroes. So I wanted to give that team a try. And then for the second team, he's running Mikola here. Mikola does better in the second team, but I still feel like resonating spell might be better. I also wanted to try resonating spell on the Elsa. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use the same formation. We only have 3 attempts left, so we're limited. But we're going to use the same formation, and we're going to try this exact same formation with the frontline spell to decide, is frontline going to be better for this team or not. And then team number 2, we're going to be running the same heroes as we have here. Okay, with the arcane spell. Let's take a look. Because Mikola does better in the second team, because then she can buff up both the Elsa and the Odie for the whole fight. And also when she keeps getting like stunned or like thrown around, it is not going to affect her because she can just recast her Courage Sphere. It has a worse effect on Smokey if he's your healer, because then his aura gets interrupted. Okay, look, so we have the 3 heroes on the front line. They're all going to be dealing more damage. But of course, most of it is going to come from Soren and Shakir. Reese will not get any value from this frontline spell. The other thing which I didn't realize is that Reese's charm set this season causes the enemy target that he deals damage to take bonus damage. So he's kind of actually also like a debuffer used in this team. So it's not only just for his raw damage, it's also for the debuffing power that he has. But frontline spell increases the damage dealt by your allies who are on the enemy side, which are both Shakir, Soren, and Kruger. In this position, is Shakir even reaching his buffs onto Kruger? Because if Shakir can overlap and buff up the Kruger or even the Reese, if Reese walks in range, that is a really big deal. Okay, so right now we're up to 45 billion damage. I think to get a new record, we're going to have to get around 50 billion with team number 1. We got 46 billion. Okay, let's see team number 2. I think team number 2 can do around about 44 or 45 billion from his top score. Yeah, because now look at this. Mikola will buff up with Courage Sphere, and this is going to be buffing both Elsa and Odie from this position. And if the boss is going to throw Mikola around, it won't really matter. You're still going to be able to have the Courage Sphere active when she recasts it. And if she has it like timed up on it while being thrown around, it will just remain active. Because, and if you have her Supreme Plus, of course, that's even better, because then it will be permanent. She won't have to recast it, and it will always be active even while being thrown around. So 50 seconds left, already 33 billion. Definitely it seems like going for magic damage on team number 2 is a way to go. It might even be that arcane spell is better than resonating. But the other thing I wanted to try was resonating not only on Odie, but resonating on Elsa. Because she casts ultimate so many times and she can just keep applying that basically permanent attack buff to herself. But I guess Odie kind of can do that too. Because an 8-second attack buff, if you look at the timing of Odie's ultimate, he just cast it at 27 seconds left. And the next cast that he will do is going to be at 19 seconds. So it's basically he'll have the full uptime of the attack buff even if we were running resonating on him. And then it just comes down to who do you want the attack buff on more, Elsa or Odie, who deals more damage. Okay, so this is going to come close. We got 46 billion on team number 1. On this team, we're going to get another 46 billion. I think a new record. Is it a new? It's really close. It could be a new record or it could be just slightly off. We got a new record. There we go. So 93.4 billion, very close to his previous record. It seems like Frontline is doing a little bit better than the other team without Frontline spell, but really close. And team number 2 did really well in this team as well. So I think the next thing that we have to try now is resonating spell on team number 2 and see whether we can get a better performance here. Resonating spell, we'll try it on the... Wait, if we have some runs of resonating spell, we know exactly how much can be dealt with this. So he's always been trying arcane spell, frontline spell, arcane. Okay, he did one try of resonating spell. And this one did it did do a bit more, right? 25 billion and then 20, that's 55, 45, a bit over 46 billion damage, right? 40, yeah, so pretty close actually to the team run that we just did. The team run we just did about, if we take a look at it, well, on the numbers here, it didn't do quite as much. So I'm going to try with Resonating Spell. We'll do one Resonating attempt with Odie being the Resonator, and then we'll do one Resonating attempt with McCool or Elsa being the Resonator, and we'll skip them. And let's see whether we can set a new record. But it does seem like Soren is a great damage deal option if you haven't built. But keep in mind, the Soren on my viewer's account is also plus 10 exclusive equipment. So without investment, he might not be as good. Okay, this did 92 billion. With Odie as the Resonator, even though Odie did more damage. Like, if you look at the secondary team, almost 47 billion. Oh, I think the thing is that Arcane Spell damage is not actually included in the score. In the score report, the Arcane Spell damage, I think, is added on top of this. So, this is not like a fair representation of how much damage was actually dealt. It was actually more than this. Team number 1 did worse in our next attempt here. Okay, but I'm going to try one more time with Resonating Spell on Elsa for the final attempt and see whether that can do better. Because it's interesting if you can have Elsa cast, because she casts her ultimate so frequently, and keep applying the attack buff to herself. And that is going to be 90.7 billion. Okay. So I think from this, it's pretty clear that if you're going to go for Resonating Spell, Resonating should be on the Odie. And Arcane Spell seems to be doing a little bit better than Resonating Spell. And Frontline Spell seems to be doing a little bit better than Greatsword Spell, but it might have just been RNG, because we got really close to our all-time top record with this. But we beat it by like, if you take a look here, 93.4 billion, and it was 93.3 billion before. So it was almost the same. But overall, to recap the formations, this is maybe the best team with the Frontline Spell with Soren as your damage dealer. If you had Burial, then Burial is another hero. And actually, there's no Seth on this team either. So it's also probably, if you don't have Seth, you can try this team. But if you have Seth, Seth ends up dealing more damage than Soren. From the testing we did on my other viewer's account. And Elsa, and go for your magic damage team on team 2, and just go for the Arcane Spell. It seems like Arcane Spell is the best. Smokey is the best in team 1 because he's not getting interrupted as much. And you should run Frontline Spell on the team number 1. In my opinion, your physical damage team. And it seems like that's a bit better than Greatsword Spell, but they're really close. Yeah. Okay, so anyway guys, I wanted to update you this because this is a great use of Soren, and Soren is actually hitting really hard. 14.5 billion damage, almost as much as Shakir. And Reese's charms are very important. The magic charm bonus effect, because that is going to increase target damage taken by 25% with the mythic set for 8 seconds, and it can be triggered every 10 seconds. Kruger's defensive debuffs are just going to increase both Soren's and Shakir's damage because they're physical damage dealers. But from what we've seen is that if you have Seth, you should run Seth instead of Soren, because Seth can get up to like 20 billion damage, for example, even higher than Soren. And I think really the optimal team would be exactly this lineup, but Seth instead of Soren. But if you have Soren built instead of Seth, you can try this. And for team number 2, this seems to be the optimal lineup with the Arcane Spell. And yeah, for my viewer, that is going to put him up to rank 19 in the district, which is pretty amazing. But Reese is a really important hero here. We did do better with Burial on my other viewer's account, but that was because its Burial was Paragon 2 and his Reese was only Legendary. So at that point, then Reese will just do better. Or sorry, Burial will do better than Reese. But generally speaking, Reese is going to be the better option because he has a debuff as well. Like, Burial also causes isolated enemies to take more damage, but it isn't as much of a damage boost as the Reese magic charms. So anyway guys, I think we have a pretty good understanding of the Dauntless squad, what to expect, which heroes to run depending on what you have built up on your account. Now in the future videos, what I want to do later today is I want to upload videos on the Immortal squad, which was yesterday's Graveborn, and try to find a compilation of the top teams so that we can know what to expect for that, because I haven't seen any of that. And we can take a look actually at yesterday's ranking, but he was ranked 123, so I don't think we might have been using the optimal team. But I can check on my other viewer's account, he was in the top 20, I think, yesterday. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll hopefully see you in the next video, and until then, everyone, peace out for now.